Welcome back, guys. Hope you're all doing great. And this is the third live session for our full stack music application. So, if you haven't watched the previous two live session, like day one and day two, so I dropped the link in the description box. So please go and watch that video. And what we have done so far is we just created this nice navigation bar, and we have ourselves. Just a moment. I'm sorry, guys. So let's get started. So where we are, so far we created this nice navigation bar, and if you have a look at it, we're having this nice drop down menu, and we have our custom server with our custom API endpoints. So this is what we have done so far, and in today's session we are going to design the we are going to create the main base of our administrative panel. Okay, so let's get started. So here we don't have any option for the user to navigate from one navigate from the user menu to admin menu. So first of all, we have to fix that issue. So we don't have any admin page or anything else, so we have to create that admin page first. So please go open your Visual Studio Code, and let me close everything. Okay, cool. So now open your header. So this is the place where we are having this menu option over here. So this is that code. So right after my favorites, I have to keep my that dashboard menu option. So that dashboard menu option should be this should be visible only for the users, sorry, only for the admin, not for the normal users like members or any other users. It should be visible only for members. Oh, come on, it should be visible only for admin, I'm sorry. Okay, it should be only visible for admin. So how we can make sure that so by the time when we are creating a new user, I hope you guys remember. So let me open that. Let me open my state context provider. So here in this value section, you can see the user. So I think we do have the user role. Currently this user role is a member. He's a member over here. So we have to manually change this for initial process as an admin. So later we create a separate API endpoints to change member to admin and admin to member. So to do that, open your MongoDB. Please do sign in your MongoDB. So let me go back to that. Come on, it's loading. Sign in with Google. I'll use this because this is the ID which I created for this project. Okay. Let's go to our database, browse collections. And over there, so we have this user collection, and these are the two different user collection. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this email address as a member itself, and I'm going to change this email address as as an admin. So what we have to do is, let's say I'll double click this and I'll change this member. For the time being, I'm just manually updating it. Later we have to create a custom endpoint to change these permissions and roles and everything. Okay, so don't worry about it, we are going to create that separately eventually soon. So now what we have to do is, so let's say after this, I'm going to create exactly the same. Let me copy, 1 second. Copy it. Control C. Okay, so this is going to be deleted, and that is going to be our dashboard. Okay, cool. What happened? Dashboard, save the changes, and let's see how it's looking. So where we are, so this is looks like this. Cool. So but what's the problem is it doesn't have any triggering options or anything. So what we have to do is basically we have to put that guy inside an nav link, so that, just a moment. Okay, so now I hope you guys able to see my screen completely. Okay, so I'm going to cut it and create a nav link. Okay, nav link. Inside that nav link, I'm going to paste it, and this is going to, what happened? Oops, capital L, that's a mistake. Nav link, and the true property is going to be, this is going to navigate to our dashboard, which we haven't created this router. So we have to create this route. It's need to transport to dashboard / home. Okay, so that will take the user to the dashboard home. And let's see, so currently if you click it, it will takes you to that route, but it doesn't show any changes. So it's because we haven't created that route. So now what we have to do is we have to make sure whether it is working fine. Now currently it will display, it is visible for every users, like admin or user or for everyone. So we have to render it on conditionally. So let me add one more line, so for the designing purpose, that's looking good. So then what I have to do is this, it should be rendered when only, that should render only, we're having this user object, right? So we're having this user object which we are getting from our custom hook. So if that user is valid, and inside that we're having the user object. So if you are feel confused, go to the context provider, and this is our main user object, which here inside that user object we're having one more user object. Inside that only we're having our role. Okay, so we are going to access that role. So let's go there, dot role. If the user dot role is equals to admin, then render that object. So paste it, save the changes. And what's the mistake is, so let me open the React fragment. Inside the React fragment, paste it, save the changes, and still format the document, yes, and this is not needed, save the changes. And if you have a look at it, now it's not visible. If you refresh it, it comes, because we changed our MongoDB, right? So we changed it, but after that we haven't refreshed our screen. So I refreshed it, it's logged in again because the token is valid. It went back to our MongoDB and fetched that information. Now we can see that it's showing over here. So let me sign out and let me sign in with my different account. I'll use this because still that ID is a member only. He's not an admin. So let me sign in. I think it's taking more than a while. Invalid request. Why? We are getting invalid request. I don't understand why. It's coming back here. Sign in. Yep, now it's working. My bad, I don't know why. Okay, see, now it's not showing that dashboard because he's not an admin, he's just a member. So that's the reason it's not showing there. So let me sign out. And if I click sign in, and if I click this account, and if I go here, now you can see that we're having that dashboard. Okay, so our admin page, that navigate, that menu functionality is done. So now we have to create our dashboard route. So what you have to do is open your Visual Studio Code, go back to your where is our main route, our main navigation route in our app.js. Go back to our app.js. So this is the place where it's getting navigated. Okay, so inside that app.js, so what we have to do is, all you have to just like the same way, we have to create one more route for our dashboard. So after this, I'm going to create one more route, and that is going to have a path slash anything is coming through dashboard. You have to reroute that guy to this component. So we have to create this dashboard component because we haven't created. Anyway, I'm just typing it, dashboard. So we have to create this component dashboard. Okay, so let's create that component first. So right click, create dashboard.jsx, and RAFCE, save the changes, and open your index.js, and you have to export them. So this is dashboard components. So here I'm going to export it by default as dashboard itself. From where? From /dashboard. So save the changes, then copy this name, go back to your app.js, paste it over here, control space, and press the tab key. So that will make sure that your dashboard is imported. Where it is, here it is, dashboard. Okay, so now it gets imported. Save the changes. Just like the same way from the dashboard screen, for the dashboard screen we have to create a certain components also, because dashboard is our main admin panel, right? Inside that dashboard we are going to have the users user page, songs page, artist page, album, every single page of our dashboard, right? So later we will create one by one. Just for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create 3 different pages. So let's say we are going to create new file, dashboard home screen.jsx. This is the home screen, dashboard home, that is going to be the home. Then RAFCE, and here one more page, dashboard song.jsx, RAFCE songs, and dashboard users.jsx. So RAFCE, save the changes. And now let me close this, close this, close this, close this, and go back to your index right after here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to paste it 3 more times, and this is going to be dashboard home, and this is going to be dashboard users, dashboard songs, control space, home, control space, oops, control, come on, users, songs. So save the changes. Okay, so let's make sure whether it is working fine or not. Let's go back here, and if I click this, now it should take me to my dashboard. So it's working perfectly. It's taking us to our dashboard. So but what's the problem right now in our dashboard is because we can't see our navigation bar. So we have to fix that issue. So now get back to your dashboard.jsx. Over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add certain styles. So we have to fix this issue, otherwise it will be a very big problem for us later. So this should use width full, height auto, flex of course, and flex in a column direction. Items, everything should be in the center, and justify the content is also in the center, and the background color is going to be the primary color. So save the changes. Okay, view, I don't know why this keyboard shortcut is not working. Okay, so save the changes, and right inside here later we are going to display all our the things, whatever the things which is necessary. Just for the time being, we have to bring our header component inside. So let's bring our header component. So now that will display the header component. So it's displaying the header component, and right after here I'm going to create the on mode division. So div, and that div is going to be width. I'm going to make it with a custom. So let's say I'm going to keep it 60% of the screen size. And then from the margin, I need some space, PG blue color, because for the time being let's keep it as it is. Then padding 4. I'm not giving any width, and I'm not giving any height, so I'm adding padding for the time being. Then flex item center and justify evenly. Inside everything should justify evenly. So this is how it looks. Okay, so that's fine. So later what we are going to do is inside this I'm going to create a different boxes which helps us to navigate from it helps us to navigate to users and songs, artists, menus, something like that. Different options, different functionalities. Okay, so we'll do that later. So now our main routing, navigations, and everything is done. So without backend process we can't start designing, so we have to move back to our background process. So that means we have to start working in our server end. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code, and I'll close all of this, close all. Okay, so let me collapse everything, the client, because we are going to focus only on the server in this session, because we fixed the navigation. So dashboard, admin panel, everything is working perfectly as we are expecting. So later we will come back and design it, and we'll work on it. For time being, now we have to start working in our server side, that means our backend. Okay, so let's start creating our models. So we created the model is a schema for our user object. Just like the same way we have to create the schema for our albums, artists, and songs, for all these functionalities. So for storage purpose, we are going to use the Firebase, so we don't need to worry about it because we are going to upload our songs or the images or whatever it is. We are going to upload it to our Firebase. That will gives us the access URL, and that is a string, and we are going to save that access URL inside our MongoDB collection. Okay, so what we have to do is open your model folder. Inside the model folder, so first what we are going to do is we are going to create an album schema for an album. So right click, new file, album.js. Okay, so this is the album. So now we need to contact our MongoDB. So to do that, const, we need to create an instance for mongoose. Const mongoose is equals require mongoose. Then const album schema. This is the album schema is equals mongoose dot schema. We are going to call that, we are going to be creating an instance and opening it, and we are going to define an object inside it. So first is going to be the name, because we need to know what kind of album name it is. So type, the data type is going to be the string. So S should be a capital letter, string. Then required, it is required object. Without a name, we are not supposed to allow the user to create an album. Then we need the image URL. That is highly important. Okay, so the data type of it is going to be just like the same way as a string. Then required is going to be the true. Okay, so come on, name, after the name we don't need anything, so I'm going to close this object. After this, I need the timestamp. That means when it's created, altered, updated, deleted, and we need the timestamp. So MongoDB is providing you that timestamps. True. Okay, so this is the timestamps which is which we needed. So make sure timestamps, everything is spelled properly. Then we have to export it. So module dot exports, so that we can use it inside our routes and everywhere. So mongoose dot, this is the model. So in what name you are going to export it? I'm going to export it in the name of album, and use the schema object which we created. So album schema, it's done. So then what we have to do is we have to create the artist dot artist.js. So artist.js, that's fine. Then so just like the same way, so I'm just going to copy this from here, copy it, paste it, then const artist schema is going to be mongoose dot schema, open it, enter. Okay, and we also need the timestamp, so let me create the timestamps initially itself, because otherwise at the end it's very hard to follow the opening and curly brackets. So save the changes inside here. Now oops, okay, so now what we have to do is inside here we have to create the name object. So let's do something. We'll copy it, and we will paste it. Done. Then we also need the image URL, so copy it, so paste it. Then after the image URL, we also need the social media link of that user. So what, like let's say it's better to keep Instagram or Twitter, whatever it is. I'm just going to use the Twitter and the Instagram. So let's say Twitter, and that's going to be the type string, and let's say Instagram, and that is also going to be the type string. And at the end we need to export this, so let's copy this line also. So while copy and pasting, so please be very careful, you should not keep the same name as the previous model, so that will make an issue. So this is going to be the artist and artist schema. Save the changes. So now the artist is done, so let me Control A and Control C, and now I have to create one more model for song.js. Save and Control A, and I copy it and I pasted it. So Control V. Over here, this is going to be the song schema. Fine. So name is okay, image URL is okay. Just like the same way, same image URL, we need to have one more thing. That is going to be your song URL, because we need to upload our audio file also, right? So that is very highly important. And then we need to have the album information, what particular album it is. That is really important, right? Because this song, if in case if it is an album song, so this song need to be mapped to our album, so that should be really important. So album, what album it is, and that is type string, and that is also required. It is not necessary to be every song as an album, so in such case we don't need this. So what I can do is I can simply delete this line. Okay, so it's not necessary, because not every song whatever we are uploading, it's going to be an album song, right? So it's the user dependent, so it's not necessary. Then we need this artist. Who's the artist? Because that is really important. Which particular artist uploaded this? So we have, that is really important. So artist, that is type string and is required. Then the language of the song, that is really important, because we are using languages as a filters, so definitely we need to have the language of the song. So language and type is string, required, it's compulsory, it's required. And the category, what category, in what category the song is going to be, so category. So these are the things which is tracked out in my mind. So later if you feel that something and you need to add more, so feel free to add more, so much more objects as much you need it. Okay, so but in this project I think I'm good with this, so I'll just keep it as it is. Then the name which we are going to create in the MongoDB, this collection name is going to be song, and this should use the song schema. Save the changes. So now all the required models for our project is done. Okay, so later if we need anything else more, we can come and we can add it over here. So now let's get back to our app.js in our server. This is our app.js, and this is the place where we are rerouting everything of which is the link there for the API. Whenever the user sends a request, if that request is coming through this specific API route, we are rerouting it to user we are rerouting it to auth.js, routes.auth.js. Just like the same way, if anything is coming for album or artist or songs, we have to reroute it to the different place. So let's do that first. So what I'm saying is, so here, this now we are going to say artist routes and albums routes and songs. Okay, so just like the same way, then go back here routes. So create one more route for albums.js and create one more route for, what is that, you can say artists.js. Okay, then you can create one more route for songs.js. So leave it as it is as empty, so we can add one by one. So inside here artist, now what we have to do is, so let's say const artist routes that's an object which we are creating, and require anything which is coming through. So this just like the same way, API slash users, anything which is coming through API slash artist, you have to reroute that user to this specific file, routes slash artist. Okay, then we need to instruct the app to use that route, app.use. When you have to use anything which is coming through slash API slash artist, then you have to use that route, artist route. Okay, so just like the same way we have to do for album also. So what we can do, so I don't want to copy it, so I'll just type it. So album routes equals require anything is coming through API slash album, read out the user to this specific file, albums, then app.use slash API slash albums slash comma album routes, then song routes, const song routes equals require dot slash routes songs semicolon, then app dot use slash API slash songs slash song routes. Okay, so now everything will be rerouted to this routes. But if you save this right now, it will throws an error. So it will, I mean, whenever the request comes in this particular route, it will throws an error. So currently it will not show any error or issues because there is no issues or anything. What happened? Just now I say there is no issue and it's crashed. Come on. So save it. So rerun it. So we are getting crashed. Why? Where we are getting crashed? Yeah, as I said, see, it's saying required middleware function. Okay, so that is the problem, is because we haven't created any middleware function for all these. So now if I save the changes, now it will work. So because we haven't created any middleware function, so now we have to create all the middleware functions in their necessary files. So open your albums file. So in that album, so we have to create we have to make sure that this album is going to use that specific router and everything. So first important thing, const router, we have to extract the router from our express app, require express. Then what you have to do is we have to call the router class. So this will create an instance for our router. Then we have to use the get method to get that information. So router dot get request. So initially let's say get all the album informations, right? So this is going to be the asynchronous method, and it's going to send a request along with the response, and we are creating an arrow6 function. Inside here, I'm just going to send a response, return response.json, and let's say getting all albums. And we have to export our router, otherwise it will not work fine. So you have to export your router. So module dot exports equals router object. Okay, so this is just a simple route. Later we have to create get all and delete, update, remove everything. So we have to create every single request. So let's say copy this, and we'll do the same thing for our artist. So this is going to be artist, and let's say the same thing, and this is going to be for songs. Save changes, save the changes, save changes. Control J, no issue so far. So let me save the changes. No issue. So now let's open our Postman application. Postman. Okay, so here we go. It's loading, it's loading, it's loading. Okay, so here we're having this request for our user login. So this is where we have to create project music app, right? So here I'll create a new folder. I'll create a new folder inside here. New, add a folder. Come on. And this folder is going to be rename, and this is going to be authentication. Anything is coming related to the user authentication, it will comes to this folder. So let's save this request in that folder. So it's better to save it properly, user login, because later it is very easy for you to access it. Save it. So now that user authentication link is saved, close it, close it, close it. And just like the same way, I'm going to create one more folder, and this is going to be for our albums. And inside here, I'm going to create one more request. Add a request, and this request is going to be get albums. Okay, and this is let me copy this and I'll paste it here, but this time is not going to come from /API/user. This time is going to be artist.albums. Go there, albums, not login. That is going to be our get all. Copy it, paste it. Now if I hit send, you can see that it's sending a response as getting all albums. That means our route is working perfectly now. No issues with our route. So go back here. I'll change this to artist. Okay, songs, albums, and artist. We have to do the same thing for our artist and songs. So let me duplicate this. Duplicate and duplicate one more time. Okay, so this is going to be artist, and this is going to be artist, and this is going to be songs, and this is going to be get all songs. So let's change this. Copy this URL, close it, paste it, change this to artist because that is the artist. Get it. So we are getting the request, so it's working fine. Close it. Go back to your get all songs, paste it. Then that's a get request, and instead of albums, that is going to be songs. Hit it, and we are getting our all songs. So our all the routes and everything is working fine. So let's go ahead and we will do one by one request. So let's start with our artist. Okay, so let's start with the artist. Just a moment. So let me okay, so we are going to start with our artist. If you have a look at it in your artist model, let's say what are the informations we needed. We needed the name, image URL, Twitter, Instagram, and everything. These are the required informations we have to supply for our artist. So we are going to save the artist informations. So let me close this. We don't needed it. This we need the model, so bring it, and we also need the routes. We'll bring both of them inside. Okay, this is coming from model and this is coming from route. Then what we have to do is, so we have to create the router. We already created the router, it's working fine. Then we have to import our model inside first. So this is our artist schema model. So const artist is equals require. So where that is coming from, double dot slash models slash artist. That is the schema which we created. Now this is the instant we having for our model. So then what I have to do is, now I'm going to save the new artist. So we are going to save the new artist. So what we are going to do to save what request we have to create, we have to create the post request. So what we can do is, so let's say instead of get all, I'm going to say save. Okay, you can keep it as save or save new, whatever you want, but I'm going to keep it as save, and this is going to be the post request, not a get request. Just like the same way, this is going to be an asynchronous function, because we are going to access our MongoDB. That this function should wait until that MongoDB is get connected and fetched the data which we needed, right? So asynchronous function, request and response as a parameter. Close this. We are not going to return anything so far now. Now I'm going to create a new artist which is going to access the JSON information from the API request. To access all the API requests which is in a JSON format, initially I told you we have to enable our app to use our JSON information, So previously we used the JSON body parser or something like external packages to parse the API requests into form data into a JSON data. So now we don't need that, because Express have a default package called JSON that will convert the form data into the JSON. So all you have to do, so right after this is the place where we are defining, where we are making our API routes as an accessible in the cross origin. After that, I'm going to say app.use from the Express, convert all the form data into a JSON. So this will convert our form data into a JSON. So no issues so far, everything is working fine. So now let's go back to our artist routes, go back there. So there what we have to do is, we have to create a new object which is going to collect the form data from the API request. So what you can do is, so let's say const, let's give a name as new artist itself, new artist equals, and we're having that model over here where we are going to save, it inside that collection. So we are going to access it, and I'm going to supply an object inside, and that object is going to have name, image URL, and the Twitter and Instagram, everything as a string. So where we are going to get all these informations, we are going to get all the information from the API request from the body tag as a string in a JSON format. Okay, so first we are going to get the name, copy and paste it. So name, and that is going to be saved as request. From the request, from the body, we need to fetch the name. Then what is the second object? Copy. Then here, just a minute, why it's keep on saving whenever I paste something. So format on paste, I think I accidentally enabled that option. Okay, so image URL request dot body dot image URL, comma, then Twitter. Next line is going to be our Twitter, right? So copy the Twitter and paste it. So it's better to copy and paste because we don't need to make any accidental mistakes. So please do copy it and paste it. Then Instagram, it's better to copy it. Copy and paste it. Request.body.instagram. So this is the data object which we are going to receive it from our API request. Now what we have to do is then we have to do, so we're having that data object, and now I need to open the try and catch block. So we have to open the try and catch block. So this is the place where it's getting ended. Right after here, I'm opening the try and catch. So because we need to handle the runtime issue also. So I'm going to call await. I need to save this inside the MongoDB, right? So the object which I'm having is new artist. It's going to save this inside. The save is a method which is coming from your Mongoose, and which is provided by this specific model. This is the because this is the used by, it is created, this schema, this is a schema model which is created by the Mongoose, and that provide you the save method. We are using that save method, and that is going to return an object, a promise back. So const save artist. So that will return the information about the saved artist back. Then what I have to do is I have to send that saved artist information as a response. So I have to return the response dot status as 200 dot send. What I'm going to send the information as, let's say, success as true, and then data, we need to send the data, and I'm sending the data as a name of artist itself, artist, and saved artist. Okay, so we are sending the data to the front. Then in case if there is any issue, so I have to return return response dot status as, let's give the status as 400, then send that information, and this time is going to be success is going to be false. Then and we need to send a message also. So message is going to be the error. We need to send that error message also. So this is that save post request. I'm sorry, lots of disturbance today. So now what we have to do is, so this is done. Let's save these changes and let's make sure whether this save request is working fine or not. Okay, so currently this code is, it's for few of you guys, you feel a little bit hard, you don't understand what exactly happening. So let me explain one more time, and let's open your post request over here. This time it's not going to be get all, it's going to be, I'm going to create a new request in the artist, right click, add request, and that request is going to be save. It's a save request, and I'll copy this URL and I'll go there, I'll paste it. This time is not going to be get, it's going to be post, and this is going to be save. Okay, now we have to send the data. So where I'm going to send the data, I'm going to click word tag, and that is going to be a raw, not a text, it's going to be JSON. So please make sure, click the body menu choose the raw data and please change this to JSON. Then only your Express app can decode it. Okay, so then now this is a JSON object. Open the bracket and let's do, I'll copy everything from here, copy it, and I'll paste it over here. Okay, so this is need to be inside a double quotes. This is also, this is also, this is 2, and let's, instead of this, let's say artist, and I'm just going to say sample data, and this is also, and that is going to be sample image URL, and that is going to be sample Twitter, and this is going to be sample Instagram. We don't need this. Now we having all this request, the name, image, URL, Twitter, and please make sure this name should match these names, because this is the place where we are collecting those information, whatever we are sending from there. Name, image, URL, Twitter, Instagram. So we are sending this in a JSON format. This app will decode that JSON. In this line it will get decoded, and this route will navigate that artist over here, and it will check it is a save, and it will check it is a post request or not. Everything, once everything is matches, it will collect all the body request, body information, whatever we send, and it will keep it inside this local object, and it's get created as a new artist. Then what we are doing, we are making it await. This will wait until that new data, whatever we collected, successfully saved in our MongoDB, and that will return back the saved artist information along with the timestamp when the artist is created and what particular timestamp it is created. So then we are returning it back to the user as a response itself. In case if there is any error or issue, while during that we are returning back that error also. So this is that request is happening. This is what exactly happening in this code. So let's click send, and you can see that it's giving the message as success as a true, and artist name, image, URL, Twitter, Instagram, ID, a unique ID which is created for that particular artist provided by your MongoDB itself, and created at what timestamp and updated at what timestamp, and this is the version number. Okay, so let's go ahead and check our MongoDB. Open your MongoDB. So let's do refresh this entire collection, entire databases, and now you can see here we have the new collection. Inside that new collection, and we have our new data itself. So everything is working fine. So far, so good. Okay, so artist is successfully created. Now, just like the same way, we have to create for our albums and songs and everything. So instead of jumping from here to there, what we can do is, let's finish the artists completely, then we'll finish the albums completely, then we'll finish the songs completely. And once we finished with our backend endpoints, then that's it. Our entire work is, it's very easy. Everything, the data actions and everything should be performed from our backend endpoints. So we have to spend a lot of time in our backend API endpoints. So we created the artist save request. Now what we have to do, we have to create a request to get a single artist information. Okay, so now we are going to write a get request to collect the single artist information. So router, I'm going to write router.get request, anything which is coming through like slash, let's say get one. Okay, get one. How you are going to fetch that information? So we are while sending that request, I'll send ID also. Along with it, I will send an ID, so that will collect that information. Colon. So you need to put that colon over here. Then only your Express app can isolate the params which we are sending through the API request. So colon get one. You can say get one, or you can say ID or anything else. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it as ID. So because I know that is an ID, so I'm keeping it as an ID. Then that, as usual, that is going to be an asynchronous method, and we are going to create an arrow6 function, which is going to take the request and response as a parameter. Open an arrow6 function. So first we have to collect that ID from that URL parameter. Okay, so that the request URL. To access that, what I'm going to do is, so let's say return response dot JSON. I'm just going to send from the request. I'm having an object called parents. So what is that object parameters? That is our ID. I'm getting that ID and I'm simply sending it back. So save the changes. Is there any issue? No, there is no issue in it. Let's go back to our Postman and let's save this, copy this URL, create one more request, paste it, and the name of that request is going to be where we are going to save this. We are going to save this in our artist, and this is going to be get one or get artist. Okay, I'll keep it as get one itself, get one. Okay, this is a get request, and this is going to be get one. And please make sure that is the same name, get one slash. Now I need to give the ID over here. So this is the ID I'm going to use. Just copy it, and I'm going to send this in the URL. Okay, this is the unique ID which is created by your MongoDB itself. I'm sending that ID through the front end. Through the front end, when I'm accessing this API, I will send an ID. When I hit the send request, you can see that it's returning back that ID. That's what we are doing over here. That means the URL, it's sending the ID to our backend application, and the backend, it's responding back through our, which is collecting that parameter from the request URL, and it's returning back to our response. Okay, so everything is working perfectly how we wanted it. So I hope you understand how we are fetching the parameters and everything. Now what I actually want to do is I need to fetch the information from the MongoDB. Okay, so to do that, we are going to use the find one method. So if you open your MongoDB documentation, okay, so it's loading, and you can see here that this okay, so here you can see that this is the method. So please go through this documentation, which is really helpful for you. Okay, so let's have a small break. Okay, so let's have a small break, and let's open the chat. I got a request in the chat, bro. After every 20 to 30 minutes, please look at the chat so that if we have any doubt, we can clear. Appreciate it. I clearly noted it because okay. So I will check the chats, everything. So okay, if I'm not wrong, when I think we can do simple validation in the model as well. Yes, exactly. You can do the simple validations also in your model. That is really necessary in any cases. For instance, you can say if you're using the email and password authentication, you have to create the JSON web tokens, right? So if you're working with JSON web tokens by yourself, you have to do the model verifications and everything from your end, from the backend itself. So of course we can do it. So I didn't get the question. Artist and album type should be artist and album, Mongoose model type. So Sandeep, I'm not sure what you're asking. So please elaborate your question. It's very hard to type. Okay. So Mongoose artist and model type means I'm not sure what you exactly you're asking. I think when we create the schema, we can give a reference of other model also. Yes, exactly. We can give the reference of other models also. You can directly give the reference of your other models. So that's what we did over here. I think so. Over here, by the time when I create the songs, I created this particular information, all album and the type, what exactly it's going to be. So in this place, what I will do is I will pass that album ID and I will pass that artist ID. So using that album ID and artist ID, I will save the information in the song. So by the time when I fetch the information about that song, I will use the ID to get that information separately. Okay, so it's just a reference. We are giving that, we are using that ID which is created by the MongoDB as a reference. Cool. So now let's get back to our business. Okay, so here now what we have to do is we have to look into our find one. So when you're using this find one, you can see we have two different parameters, query and projections, right? This projection is optional and query is also optional. Query, which helps you. Great. I hope I cleared your doubt. Is exactly that is what I'm saying. Cool. That's good. Okay. So projection like this, for instance, I need some information, but I don't want all the information. I have to omit some information from that model, what I'm trying to fetch from MongoDB. Is that the case? You have to use the projection. Let's say I'm trying to fetch the songs, right? I have to fetch the song name, image, and artist information. Apart from that, I don't need anything else. So whatever the field you want to omit, you have to give it in the projection. That's it. Simple. Okay, so let's go here. So first we have to create the query, that is the filter, what you're going to do. So I need to fetch the information which is matching this specific ID, right? So let's go to the let's create a filter object. Const filter is going to be, so how you are going to apply the filter? I need to fetch the information, the ID underscore ID. This is then object which is coming from your MongoDB object. If you have a look at here, we're having this ID, right? I'm checking this ID name. Okay, so underscore ID, and the ID which it need to look for, that is coming from our request.params.id. Okay, so take this specific ID and try to check in this specific field, that is our filter. Then this is our data which is going to be, so const you can say data or whatever the name you want to give. I'm just going to say as a cursor, so cursor, or you can give it as a data itself. So let's say data. So let's see what is returning back, data, and this is going to be await. It's need to wait until it's fetching that information. So we need to use the artist model because we are going to fetch it from the model itself. Find one, we are going to use the find one method, find one, and here you can see that what are the things you need to supply. You want to supply any filters, or you want to supply any projection, or if you're supplying any queries or anything, that's up to you. Okay, so if you go through that find one function with the different examples provided by the MongoDB itself, you will clearly understand that function much deeper. Okay, so find one, I'm supplying that filter object which we needed, semicolon. Now we need to check if there is a data, then return response.json. I'm just sending that data, right? Else return response.json. I'm just sending not available for time being, not available. Save the changes. Let's go there and let's verify whether it is working fine or not. So hit the send option and you can see that it's sending that data back, right? So we are getting the data. So that filter is checking the MongoDB and it's applying that filter and it's fetching that information from the MongoDB. Okay, cool. Now instead of sending this in this way, what I'm going to do is just like the same way I'm going to send it. Copy, paste it. Response.send success true, and artist, instead of saved artist, this time is going to be the data. And this is also the same. Copy, oops, copy, and paste it. Status.400.send success false message error. Either you can send it as that error itself. Okay, I don't think so. This is not an error because it's not going to be an error. The message is going to be data not found. Data not found. Save changes. Okay, data not found, or I think data not found is simple. That's good. Then what we have to do, we have to write a request to get all the artist informations, right? We have to write the request. Currently we are fetching only the single artist information. We have to fetch now all the information which is matching the artist. We have to collect all the informations from our artist collections, right? So to do that, we have to create one more get request, router.get, and that request name is going to be get all, and it's going to be asynchronous method, and just like the same way, request and response is the parameter, and we have to create yes, you can actually Sandeep, you can fetch the informations by using the ID itself. Actually we are using the ID only. Actually we are using so you can fetch the informations from the data by using the ID or any unique property. It's up to you. You can use any property, that is up to you, but that should be a unique property. So in this case, MongoDB itself it's providing the ID. Then why should we need to use the different property, right? Cool. Then what we have to do is now we are going to fetch all the informations from our collection, which is from our what is that? From our artist, right? So then if to get this information, what function we are going to use is we are going to use the function called find. So the function we are going to use is find. That's the function we are going to use. So find operation, where it is. Wait a second. Instead of find one, we are going to use the find method. db.collection.find. Okay, so here also the same way we are having this query and proportion. If you scroll down, you can see how you can fetch the information, and different functionalities are there. You can see how your different examples also there, how you can fetch the information, on what basis you can fetch the information. You can fetch the information by using any specific property, or even if you don't give any specific conditions or anything, it will simply fetch the entire objects from our collection itself. Okay, so this is really useful to fetch that information. So let's say over here, so I'm going to create an options. right? So first we have to create the options. So that is a small what you can say, we have to fetch the recently created informations, right? We have to fetch the some user prefer to get the recently created artist information. Some user prefer to get the user information in an ascending order, or in a descending order, something like that, right? So I have to fetch the informations by using the created at. So create, if you have a close look in your data, we have this object created at. So we have to sort our informations on a specific order. On what basis? Which information is created latestly, right? So I have to arrange it in an order, in a date wise. So I'm going to use that created property. Okay, so let's go here, and here I'm going to create const options is equals, let's open an object. So I'm going to sort it. Sort colon. Sort is an object provided by your MongoDB itself. So you have to make sure that is spelled properly. Sort. So I'm going to use which property to sort our data? This created it. So copy it, paste it. So 1. Okay. So save the changes. What is this? Colon 1. Save the changes. So here, let's go back here, Control F, sort. So you can see here that it's having this sort method, right? We have the sort method, we have the order by method, on what specific property you want to order your data, and 1 in this case, that means true. Okay, so we are ordering it in an ascending order by the name field. So that's the reason they are supplying the value as 1. In descending order, 0. Okay, and I never tried in the descending order, so you can try by using simply typing by 0 itself. So created at 1, so I need it in the latest one, so 1. Okay, so I don't think so. 1 means ascending and 1 means descending, because it's not mentioned over here, because I'm not supposed to say anything on my own idea. What is this? Okay, so here according to this information, sort method documents orders the document result set. The following option returns the document sorted in the ascending order. So I think so 1 is returning the order in the ascending order because it's mentioned over here. Okay, I'm good. Then what we have to do is, now we have the options. Now we have to supply these options to our data, so to our function. So const data is going to be await. Okay, so it's going to be await artist dot find, and take that options which I already created. So that will give the data. Now just like the same way, if there is a data, you have to send that data back. If there is nothing, then simply say data not found. So save the changes, and let's go back here, open your Postman, save the changes, and I'll copy this. I'm going to here, instead of get all, hit the send, and now you can see that it's returning an array of objects, and it's giving the informations, it's giving our data, and currently we're having only 1 data information, right? So let's save one more new data, and let's say I'm going to use what I can do is I'm going to say AR on image URL. So let's simply copy any image URL. So AR on images. So I'll use this specific image. So right click, copy the image address and open it. Simply paste it over here. Oh God, this is too big. So I'll use this then better. Right click, copy image, paste it, because later we need to access that image, right? That's the reason I'm just copying, giving some original image. So www.twitter.com, www.instagram.com, some reasonable information. So let's send it. So the data is saved successfully. Let's go back to get all, hit it, and you can see that it's still giving the in the ascending order only, which is the recently created artist will be the last in that array of objects, so that when we are mapping it, it will comes in the top of that list. Okay, so here we go. So everything is working perfectly as we are expecting. So now the only two more functionality is remaining. That is what is update and delete. That's the two functionality is remaining. So we have to create the update and delete. So let's go there and let's create the put request to update the information and delete to delete the information. So delete is really easy. So let's finish the delete request. So router dot delete, open it. So anything is coming through the request as delete slash colon id, delete id or id, whatever it is, and asynchronous, and you have to send the request and the response as a parameter for this function. Okay, router dot delete id. So first we have to fetch the id just like the same way what we did over here. Copy it and please do paste it over here. Okay, so now we have the id which we needed. So now I need to delete await artist dot delete one. So if you have a look at it over here, there are different functions over here: delete many, delete one, find one and delete, find by id and delete. There are different functions. So in this case, I'm just going to use the delete one, which is really simple and clear. So I'm just going to use delete. So I have to supply the any filters or anything. We do have the filter, so let's supply the filter. That's it, and that will returns the promise. So I have to catch that promise back. So const result equals. So if that is the result, what I have to do? If there is no result, what I have to do? That's what we are going to do. So let me copy this if condition and I paste it over here. Instead of data object, I'm just going to say result. So what I'm going to say, success true, and the message is going to be data deleted successfully. And then if that data is not found, so it's going to be data not found. Simple. Let's save the changes. Everything is fine, looking good. So let's go back here and let's try to delete this dummy data. So copy this. I'm going to create one more request over here, add request, and that is going to be the delete request, delete, and I'll copy this one from here, Control A and Control C, Control V, and this request is going to be delete, and instead of get one, I'm going to send the request as delete, and the ID is going to be, this is the ID, copy it and paste it over here, hit the send, and now you can see here it's sending the success and message as data deleted successfully. So if you want to send your custom message, you can send your custom message, and along with this, if you want to send the result also, that you want to know what exactly is that result, then you can say simply as data colon as result, save changes. And now, so let me delete this second one also. Let's go there, copy it. I will delete the second one also. Now you can understand what exactly it's going to be there. You can see that when you are deleting it, it's giving the acknowledge that is deleted, and what is the deleted count? 1. So that's the reason I just removed it. I don't need this, that result and everything. So I just want you to show you what will be in that returned promise. Okay, it gives you the acknowledgement and how many data it's deleted. If you want to keep it, keep it. Otherwise, just simply leave it. In this case, I'm just going to keeping it. Anyway, currently there is nothing in our artist collection. Everything is deleted. If you want to make sure, go here and please do refresh this. And you can see here, currently our artist data is 0 because whatever we inserted, we deleted everything. So let's go here and let's insert one more thing. So it's inserted, and now we're having only one artist inside this artist information. We get that. So we're having one information. So now I'm going to see, let's save one more artist, Anirudh Ravchandra. Okay, so I'm just copying this guy name and I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to copy this picture, copy image address. I'm going to paste it over here. Paste it. This is really big, so I don't want that. So I'll use this then. This is also really big. Oh God. So sometimes this happens. Okay, this is clean, so I'll use this one. So hit send. Now if you go get all artists, so we do have two different artists, A.R. Rahman and Anirudh. So we're having two different artists now. That's good. Okay, so let's go back here. The only one request now is pending is our update request. So let's go ahead and finish that update request also. So router dot put request, not update, put. So router dot put. So what we have to do is, this is exactly, it's going to be same as your save object, but some changes inside it. So slash update slash, okay. Then what I have to do is I need to supply the ID, colon ID. So whenever you're sending a parameter, so guys, please don't forget to use the colon over there. Okay, so that's a common mistake everyone used to do, because I did that mistake quite a lot. So request, come on, response as a parameter to that function, so it changes. Cool. Now what we have to do is, let's go and copy from here to here and let's paste it here. Anyway, this is not going to be the same. There is some changes and everything is going to be, we have to do some changes and everything. So to do this, what we are going to use, what function we are going to use is, that is the find and update. Find and update. Find one and update. I'm sorry, find one and update. We are going to use find one to find that ID, and as once it's find that ID, it need to update that information. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. Then I think so we did that in our user information itself, just exactly the same way how we updated over here. We are going to do the same thing over here. So I'll just copy this and I will just paste it over here. Okay, and this time is not going to be the user ID. This time it's going to be your simply ID alone. This we are going to find it by using ID. I'm just going to copy it and paste it here, and this time is not decode value, request dot params dot ID. Okay, and these are the options. I already explained you what is upsert. That means in case if this ID is not there, that will create the new data itself, data object itself. That's why we are using that. Okay, and this time this is not going to be new object, so I'll just simply copy this and I'll just simply delete it. Okay, we don't need that. After this, now what we have to do is, we already have the filter and we already have the options and everything. Now we have to open the try and catch block. We have to try and catch it. I think so we already having over here. Come on. Okay guys, so let's make it simple. We'll delete everything. We don't need anything. Delete. I'm sorry, I'm extremely sorry, I'm quite confusing you all, so please forgive me. So please do delete. I'll make it very easy and simple for you. So delete everything. So now inside this try, now what we have to do, we have to use, so await artist dot find one and update. We are going to use this find one and update. So inside this method, you can see here we have to supply the filter and we have to supply the query and we have to supply our options, and along with that we have to supply our update information, what data you are going to update. So these are the informations you have to supply. So here first I need to filter it. I need to find out which data I'm going to update. Once you find out, you need to supply the data what you're going to update. So I'm just going to supply it directly over here. Whatever is coming from the body tag, take it and paste it. Image URL, take it and paste it. Twitter and paste it, and everything. Okay. Whatever is coming from that, take it and paste it. Right after that, I need to send the options. Along with that, I'm sending the options. Just like the same. First, try to find and filter it. Once you find out, update these informations and use these options to update that informations. Clear? Good. So this will return a promise. So we have to capture it. Result. Okay. So const result is equal. You have to send all these things. So right after here, what you have, we have to send the response back. So return response. Return the response dot status as 200 itself, then dot send as an object. We have to send that as success is going to be the true, and we have to send the data that is going to be the result, what we fetched, what we updated, that in that case. Okay, then in case if there is any error, we have to send that error report. So where is that? This, I'll copy this line and I'll paste it here. Okay, success false, message that error, save the changes. Cool. Yes, exactly. So upsert is an option that is because we are trying to find that information by using the ID. In case if that ID is not there, it will create a new object, whatever the data we are having over here. With these data, it will try to create that information. If you don't want that functionality, if you don't want that, you don't need to mention that options and everything. It's completely optional. Yes, exactly. Because MongoDB have that intelligence, this find and update, find one and update, it have that intelligence. It will not going to replace your entire object. It's just going to update only that specific property what you're sending. Okay, so it will work fine. See, I will show you a real example. See here, let's see. Okay, then what we can do is, so I think we are done over here. So let's go back here and let's create a new request over here. So let's create new one. Right click this artist, add request, and this request is going to be the update. And let me copy this one because we need the ID, right? So copy and let's paste it. change this request to put and go to the body, change it to raw and change it to JSON format. Okay, everything is good, but this ID is wrong and this name is also wrong. That is going to be the update, and the ID we have to supply the ID. Close this, go to get all artist. In this case, I'm just going to update this ID. Let's say ID, and where is the save? Control A, Control C, and let's say I'm not going to update all these informations. I delete it. I'm just going to update this Twitter and Instagram. Update, let's say to which concerned person we are updating. Let's say okay, AR. So let's say here after this AR / AR. Okay, so now put request API artist update, everything is good. Now if I hit the send, you can see here all the other informations are exactly the same, right? Nothing else is changed, but you can see here these two informations are updated. Now to make sure, I'll delete this, revert it back, hit send again. Now you can see that Twitter, it's get updated. So that's the beauty of this function. It's not going, even though if you are using this entire, we are getting the entire body information, because we are not sending the name and image URL. It's very common. Everyone used to think if you don't send that object, it will become as a null, but it will not happen in that way. It will not work in that way. Okay, so it will update the one information with it will update only the information what you sent in that request. Okay, that's good. So now the update function is working fine. So the artist information, it's completely working. Our artist API endpoint is up and running, everything is working fine. So just like the same way we have to do for our albums, and we have to do for our songs. Okay, so I think so we can finish it in this session itself, or we can do it in the next session. It's up to you. So if you want to do it right now itself, so please say yes in the chat, or let's do it in the next session. Just say yes or no, anyone. So what if we are sending name in the body, then other fields? Okay, I cleared that question. Okay, then as you wish, Sandeep. So let's move on for the next. So we done the artist, let's keep it aside. So let's go back for our artist, we have done it, and let's finish it with our album, because song, it's going to be a very big, so we don't want to touch that part. So let's start we'll do that in the next session, and we'll finish that song, and we will start designing in the next live session. So in this live session we have to finish the albums also. So let's go back to the albums. So what we can do is we can simply copy and paste. Okay, so let's go here. What's the first request we are done here? We get our artist model. We'll do the same thing over here. Copy this and let's paste it. This is going to be album, and this is going to be our album. Okay, from the models we are getting the album. That's good. Then we don't need this, we will delete it later. We will create it separately. What is the next? We are saving the artist information. So just like the same way, I'll copy it and we'll keep it the save. And in this case, we are not going to use all these informations. We just need a very small information. What is that? It's just the name and the image URL. That's all we need. I don't need this. Delete it. Why it's not deleting? come on. Okay, and just this, we don't need this. And instead of artist, we are going to use the album, and this is not going to be new artist, and this is going to be the new album. And just the same way, this is going to be saved album. This is going to be new album dot save success. Instead of saved artist, we are going to say saved album. Instead of artist, we are going to say album, message and everything. That's it. For album, save request is done. So let's go here and let's go there, new request, and that is going to be save request. So let me close all the tabs, save the changes. We need this save and we need this save. Let's say I'll copy the save from here, and from here I'll paste it, and that is going to be the post request and not artist. What is that? It's albums. Copy it, paste it. So then go to the body data, raw data, and that is going to be the JSON. And let me bring this one inside because we need it. So I'll copy this completely and I will paste it here. I don't need, oops. We don't need this, we don't need this. And instead of this Anirudh Ravichander, I'm going to keep it as hip hop. And I will, for the time being, I'll just keep the image as the test itself. Okay, so API, albums, save, everything is done. If you hit the send button, you can see that it's saving the details. So it's working perfectly now. So let's go here and go to the collections. Let's refresh our data. And look at that, albums. So we have our albums also. So it's working fine. So now all we have to do is just copy and paste it, and we just have to alter it. Okay, so just a minute. I'll just drink water so that we can continue. You can also have a break. Fine. Okay, so albums, we save the details, and let's go back for artist. So now we have to get one artist information. So let's copy it from here, copy and paste it, copy, paste it. And in get one ID, everything is going to be same. Filter, this is also going to be same. Data, find one is going to be the same only. And instead of this artist, this is going to be album. That's all you have to do. And here also album, save the changes. This is just an object name, it's not this model. Here only we are using the model name. This is just a object name. You can use any object name as you wish. Okay, save the changes, and let's go back here, go back to the Postman. And what I'm going to do is right click. There is no option to copy. Copy. I'm just going to copy this, and albums, add request, and that is going to be get one, and paste it here. And the ID what we are going to use is ID, we need the ID, right? Save this, here it is. copy, artist, this is paste here, not artist, albums, hit the send, and look at that, we are getting that specific ID album information. Okay, so now get one is also done. Next is our get all. Get all is going to be from here to here. Copy this and paste it here. Everything is going to be the same, just like the same. Change it to album. Here also change it to album. Apart from that, we are not going to change anything else. So save the change, close it. I'll copy this link and I'll go back here. I'll create a new request and I'll give a name as get all. Then I'll paste it here, change this name as albums and hit the send. Look at that. This is the only one object, and that's why we having in this array we having only one object, because that's the only one album we created and it's working fine. We are getting it perfectly. Cool. So get all is also working. Yeah, actually we are using the Firebase storage to upload our image and our audio, everything. So we are going to use our Firebase storage. So we will, from our front end, I will upload it to my Firebase cloud storage. Then Firebase will give me a link. I will get that download link and I will send it to the MongoDB. So whenever I need that, so that's the reason we are using this image link over here. So instead of simply supplying the image accessible link copied from the internet, we will upload it to our Firebase cloud storage. Storage will provide you a dynamic link and we will send the dynamic link in the API request to get stored in our MongoDB collection. Okay, so that's how it will work. So in the backend, according to the backend, it's just a string. That's all. So get all is done. So let's go back to the artist and we will copy the update. Copy this from here, copy, and let's go here. Paste it, paste the update. Okay, so then update ID, we need the ID, we are having the options, and instead of artist, we are going to send the album. And instead of sending the all the details, we need to send only the Instagram URL, and sorry, we need to send only the name and image URL. Apart from that, we don't need to send anything else. Okay, so album, find one and update. Cool, everything is done. Update one.id is successful. Let's go back here and let me duplicate this save. Right click, duplicate it and rename it as update. Okay, so this is going to be update slash then what we have to do is we have to send the ID, right? So let's say, oh god, I closed that response. Here it is, ID slash, oh god, it's confusing which one it is. Don't say. Here it is, update slash paste. Go to the body and this time I'm just going to say hip hop new songs. Let's say whether it is updating that information or not. Hit the send. We are getting the error. Come on, what error? Cannot post. Oh god, it should be in a put method. My bad. Sorry. It should change this method as put, so then only it will work fine. Change it to put method, then hit the send. Look at that. Hip hop new songs. Fine. It's working absolutely fine. So let me revert the changes. Hit the send. Cool. So our data is get updated and everything is working fine. Okay, so then what we have to do is update is done. The last one and only part is remaining is the delete part. So let's go back here and let's copy this delete also, copy it, and let's paste it over here. So delete ID, everything is fine. Just like the same way, instead of artist, we have to send it album, and response, everything is fine, everything is fine, good. So let's save the changes, go back here, and I'm going to create one more request, add request in the albums, and that is going to be the delete request, delete. And here, from here, I'm just going to copy this, save this, and I'm going to paste it here. This is not going to be artist, this is going to be albums, delete, and we are not going to use that ID, we are going to use this ID, paste it, and this is going to be the delete request, not put, delete, click send, and you can see that the data is deleted successfully. Okay, now if you go and let's refresh our MongoDB data, we do have a new collection called albums, but that is nothing over there because we deleted everything. So delete is working fine now. So save the changes and let's add hip hop, send it, and let's add jazz. It's working fine, and let's get all the data. You can see that we're having hip hop, jazz, and everything. And let me copy this, and let me get a specific information, paste it. We are getting that jazz, and if I want to update that information, I will send that ID and I will change that information to jazz. Previously it was S, now I'm going to change it to Z. Now it changed to Z. So the artist endpoints, it's also done. So we successfully finish the albums and artist. Now the only one thing is remaining is our songs, and that's we will finish it right now itself, so that we will complete our complete endpoints. So then by the next session we can focus on our front end alone. So let's go there, open your songs routes. This is the song routes. So that's the song route. So what we can do is copy it from the artist itself. Again, do the same process. Go there. We need to get this model. So let's go there. Let's go and get the song model first. Const song is equal require $/model/song. So we got our models now in our hand. So let me delete this. We don't need this. Delete it. And then go here, copy it, paste it. So save request. And this time is not going to be new artist. This is going to be new song. And this is not going to be artist. It's going to be the song. And what are the informations we need to send for saving these songs? We need this name, we need the image URL, and just like the same way, we need the song URL. I'll copy it, paste it. We need song URL, and we need album, and we need artist, and we need language, and also we need the category. So let me open this song in this side, song URL, copy it, copy it, paste it, paste it. Then album, copy it, paste it, paste it. Then artist, copy it, paste it, paste it. Then language, copy it, paste it, paste it. Then category, copy it, paste it, paste it. So these are the required informations which is necessary for our new song. Okay, so then what we have to do, just the same way here, instead of saved artist, that is going to be saved song. New, instead of new artist, that is going to be new song. And here this is going to be the song, and this is also going to be the saved song. Okay, save the changes, post save request, new song, song model. So everything is good. Now we have to change our, go here, let me close everything, close all the tabs, close this, go to the songs. Let's create a new request, and that request is going to be save request, and that is going to be the post. And let's go here to the body tag, raw data, and it's going to be the JSON data. Copy this completely from here, and then open up tag, paste it, double quotes, 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 and this should be inside a double quotes, and that should be inside a double quotes, double quotes. Everything should be inside a double quotes. Double quotes, double quotes, and double quotes. Okay, so that's it. This is all we need. Then what we have to do is we have to give a song name, right? So what we can say, let's say new song, image URL, new image URL, song URL, new song URL, then album. So we have to give the album ID. So let's say what we can do is we can give the new album ID over there instead of giving that. So what I'm going to do is I'll go get all the albums, I'll copy this ID, and inside here I will give that ID, and I'll go to the artist, I will get all the artists, and I'll copy the artist ID, and I will give that artist ID over here. And language, let's say Tamil, and category, let's say rock, and we don't need this. I hope now we are good in every aspect, right? So let's hit the send option. Oops, URL, the complete URL itself empty, I'm sorry. Copy this, paste it here. This is going to be songs, I think so. App songs, yes, it's songs. So songs, and that is going to be the save request. Now if I click send, look at that. So our song details is successfully saved. Now let's go to our MongoDB, refresh it. So here our song model is created, and our new data is also inserted. Cool, right? So then let's go to our, we don't need this, close it, artist, and let's copy this from here. Copy, and go here, and and let's copy get one ID. That's good. This time it's going to be song. We are going to find that. And what is the field? It's giving us ID itself. So the filter is going to be the ID only. That's good. Not artist. That is going to be the song. And I think we are good over here. So save the changes. Let's go back here and let's create a new request. Add request, and that is going to be our get one. And let's copy this from here, copy it and paste it. And this is going to be get one request, get one. So please do be very careful whenever you're typing this informations, because that's the place where we used to make a common mistakes. So please be very careful. Save changes and let's paste it over here. And that is going to be the get request only. Let's check, get it. Here we go. So it's fetching that information. So get one is working fine. So then get all the informations. Get all, paste it. Get all, get instead of artist, this is going to be song, and find the options and everything. Bingo. So let's go back here, right click, add new request, and that is going to be get all. And let's copy this from here, copy it, and let's paste it here. I just need get all alone. Then to the end, I don't need anything. Then hit the send request. So now you can see that we are getting the array of objects. That means the get all method is working absolutely fine. Then go back to your artist. We have to update the information now. Copy this update ID from here, copy it, go back here, and then paste it here. And this time we do have a lot of work to do. So simply what we can do is copy this from here and then paste it over here. Simple. So apart from this, filter, everything is going to be same. Options is going to be the same. Instead of this is going to be the song. So please do change this. Then find one and update. Name and everything is same. Result, everything is going to be the same. Save the changes. So let's go here. So I'll duplicate this, save, duplicate it. So then this is going to be the update slash, and this method is going to be the update method. Where is the update? Sorry, put method. And go back to the body, and we have to send the ID. So let me copy this ID from here. I'll give that ID over there. ID, and instead of new song, I'm just going to say new song is updated. And apart from that, I'm not going to change anything else. Let me delete it and hit the send. Look at that, it's showing new song is updated. So our update is also working fine. So I'm just going to revert it back. Instead of deleting it, let me comment it. I'll comment it because later we have to work out in different aspects. So let's comment it. So now I'll just keep it as it is. There is no more, nothing else I need to change. So let's keep it as it. And last, one more thing, that is our delete. So let's copy this and go here and paste it. Delete, filter, everything is going to be same. This is going to be the song, and apart from that, nothing else we are going to do. So save the changes, and I'm going to create a new request, and that request name is going to be delete, and this is also going to be delete. And let me copy this from here and I'll paste it here, and this is going to be delete, and this is not save copy, this is update. and we are going to give this ID because we are going to delete this ID now. If I send it, and you can see that we are deleted that ID successfully. Cool. Now if I try to get all the information, it will return an empty array because there is nothing. Now if I try to save the same thing, it's saved. If I try to get that ID, what we are getting, it's showing false, data not found, because that ID is an invalid ID. So because we have to update our new ID, so let me copy this new ID and I'll give it over here, paste it, and that ID it's working fine. Save it, and I'll go to the update, paste it here, and this time I'm just going to update as instead of new song is updated, I'm just going to say new song is altered. Hit it. Wait a second. What is this? We are getting some different mistakes. Copy this, paste it here. Get all is working fine, it's working. Update, error, unexpected token in JSON position. Where is an unexpected position? Oh, come on. I don't think so. That's the mistake. Let's say second new song, that is also saved. Get all. Is it so? Inside the response, we haven't updated the response property name. Where? Where? I think I changed it everywhere. Songs. Here also is update. Here also I changed it songs. Maybe because of this. I think so. Maybe because of this. So let's use this ID now. Copy this, paste it, and let's hit the send now. Yes, you are absolutely correct. You are awesome, bro. You are absolutely right. That is all because of the comments. My bad. Okay, so update is working perfectly. So now update is also working fine. So let's try to delete the same ID. Paste it, hit the send. Cool. So now this is deleted successfully. So we successfully created the model, that means the schema, and we created all the respective APIs and endpoints which is necessary for our front end. So we successfully completed our backend. I mean, partially we completed. Still we need to add some information in these songs, like adding favorite and adding playlist and some everything. So there are a minor bugs and issues are there, so we have to fix those things. So far we successfully completed our backend. So I hope you guys, everyone, enjoy the today's session. If you please if you enjoyed this session, please send a comment, and I really appreciate your feedbacks. Even if it is a negative, I will try to rectify that issues and try to correct it in the next video. So I want to ask you an out of the context question, that is, how do these websites are able to provide 1.25x 1.5x speed button? Is this also possible? I'm from backend side, and I just cloud with adjust the bandwidth. I think so. That is the question what you're asking. It just that is available with our audio player itself, right? So we can forward it like 10 seconds or 5 seconds. That is with our audio player, not with the songs. I think so. React Redux versus React Redux, which is best, which is commonly used in organizations nowadays. React Toolkits will provide you the complete functionality. It is very hard for everyone to follow it. But if you're using React Redux, like completely, if you're creating everything completely from the ground, so that is really helpful for you. I think organization, everyone will prefer to use the React Redux only, because one of my friends, he's working as a full-time React developer, as a front-end developer. So he knows much better than me. So when I was asking with him, he said React Redux is best in every aspect, because toolkits will comes with inbuilt functionalities. So we have to customize it on some occasions on our own purpose. So it's better to use React Redux itself. That is up to the developers. So if you are convenient with working with the complete toolkit, then it's fine. Yes, we do. We are going to use that functionalities. I will show you what are the functionalities in that website. So let me show you. Where is that? So let me stop this server. Control C. Control C. Save the changes. Okay. So where is that? It is in my hard drive, I think so. Then editing, YouTube, merge stock, right click, services, new terminal tab. So here, CD. So let me CD server. Let's create one more new terminal tab. CD client, yarn start, yarn development. Okay, so it's getting started. It's loading. Why it's loading this much? It's connected. Okay, here we go. So this is the home screen. Currently, something I think I didn't get the complete project dashboard. This is the dashboard will looks like, and songs. This is how the songs will looks like. Once I click this, it will opens the audio player, and it's playing these songs, right? And you can see here, this is the time forward. So you can skip it 10 seconds, just like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You can skip forward and you can go previous, and you can move next track. And even by the time, if you want to minimize it while playing, all you have to do, just I can minimize it in this mode. The music player will run absolutely fine. And I do have the playlist also. So it has the playlist. So you can change it from here also. The song will start playing. But currently the data, everything is coming from our Firebase cloud storage, right? So it's taking 5 seconds, 2 seconds delay on loading the audio effects. That's why it's having that delay. So once we have our own server or our high speed server or something else, this website will run absolutely fine. We do have all the functionalities. You can have them mute, it will work fine. Increase the volume, decrease the volume, everything will work fine. Let's go back here. See, I can decrease and decrease the volume. You can mute it. Everything will work fine. So we are going to create this complete project. So no worries. We will do and we will build everything from the ground. I hope I cleared your doubt now. Even I love to. We are going to build this project completely from the ground. I hope you will guys definitely will enjoy this project. So I'm looking forward to it. And that's it for today's session. And now still, if you're having any questions, just please comment it. I will definitely reply you back. Even if it is taking much time or anything else, I will definitely reply back. And if you're having any negative feedbacks or any kind of feedbacks, not negative or positive, any kind of feedbacks, that is really appreciable. If it is negative, I will definitely correct it on my next live session. So have a great day and happy coding. I'll see you in the next live session. Bye bye. Take care.